Good morning, all of you. Welcome to online revision classes. Today's topic is Introduction to Data Structures. So, before going to learn data structures, we first learn what is data and what is type of data and how many types of data are there and how it is arranged in a proper format. So, first, what is a data? A data is nothing but raw facts and figures, which is also known as values. So next, what is data type? So what is data type? It is a data item defined by the value. It can take while programming. So here data type defines the operations that can be done. The operations that can be done on the data and the way values of the data can be stored. So the data item defined by the values, it can be taken while programming, is nothing but data type. This data type can be classified into two. Data type can be classified into two categories. So first one is primitive data type. Second one is non-primitive data type. So primitive data type and non-primitive data type. When it comes to primitive data type, it is a system defined data type. It is a defined data type. System defined data type. Whereas a non-primitive data type is not defined by the programming language. So it is not defined by the programming language but created by the programmer. So it is created by the programmer. So what are the examples of primitive data type? So Java usually have the primitive data types, 8 types of primitive data types. So it is integer, float, character, and boolean, where this integer is again classified into byte, short, long, byte, short and long, whereas float and double. So float and double. Character as usual, and boolean is the one data type which you come across in Java, which handles true or false. So let us when it comes to non-primitive data types, as we discussed, these are created by the programmer. So examples of non-primitive data type are string, array, class, interface. This is in terms of Java. There are non-primitive data types. So let us have the sizes and range of the data types, as you already studied in your previous classes, that is, which is a programming in C language. So a byte is a data type which have the capacity of 1 byte, and the range will be starting from -128 to +128. So we can store the values from -128 to +128 if you declare a variable with a data type called byte. Next one is short. So the size of the short is 2 bytes, and the range is -32,767 to +32,768. So if you declare a variable with a short data type, you can store values between this range. And when it comes to long or integer, first we will go to integer. So the size of the integer is 4 bytes, and the range will be -2147486 to +2147483683648. So we can store the value between this range if you declare the variable data type as integer, and the long, which stores 8 bytes of data, where it starts from -922333720 and so on to -9, so on. So this is the range and size of the data types. When it comes to float, the size of the float is 4 bytes, and the range will be 3.4 E38 to +3.4 E38. So minus 3.4 E38 to +3.4 E38. What is this E? It is an exponential value. That means 3.4 into 10 to the power of 38 into 10 to the power of 38. So we can store the value, that is decimal value, from this range to this range. When it comes to double, the size of the double is 8 bytes, and the range will be 1.7 -1.7 E308 to 1 + 1.7 E308. same thing, 1.7 into 10 to the power of 308 to plus 1.7 7 into 10 to the power of 308. So we can store the values between this range. But please remember that when you declare a data type called long, float or double, it should be postfixed with, long will be postfixed with L, float will be with F, and double will be with D, like so. Maybe you will be having a value like 9237432L. If you are declaring a float value like salary is equal to 5,72,373F. Similarly, double distance will be 7948321D, like that. So postfix should be there. You have to give the characters after the values for long, float and double. When it comes to character, so character will store, size of the character will be 2 bytes, and you can store the characters, and the range will be 0 to 65,536. And the last data type is Boolean. So as we know, Boolean is nothing but true or false, and true or false will be represented in the form of 0 and 1. By default, if you declare a Boolean variable, it will be false. So if you assign a value like 1, then it will be true. So here we have completed primitive data types. Now when it comes to non-primitive data types, string, array, class and interface. So as we have discussed, that non-primitive data type is nothing but it is created by the programmer, as it is not defined by the programming language priorly. So when it comes to string, so string is nothing but a set of characters in a sequential order, arranged in a sequential order. So we can consider this as a non-primitive data type. When it comes to array, as we have already studied in the previous semester, that is in C programming as well as Java also, array is nothing but a collection of similar data types, or it is a homogeneous collection of data types. So we can collect set of similar data types in an array, where this array can be identified, this array values can be identified using the index, and we can access the values of the array using the index number. So if you want to declare an array of data type integer, marks of 6 subjects, this is how you will declare the array, like 25, 24, 23 and so on, where the array will start from 0 by default. So a of 0, so marks of 0 will be 25, and marks of 1 will be 24, marks of 2 will be 23, and so on. And when it comes to non-primitive data type in Java, class is a non-primitive data type. So class is a non-primitive data type. As we know, what is a class? It is a blueprint. What is a class? It is a blueprint. So this class contains set of values or variables and methods which are called as data members and member functions to describe the behavior of the object. So it is also known as non-primitive data type. When it comes to interface, it can have methods and variables, but the method declaration is in the interface are defined by abstract. By default it is abstract, so we have to implement that methods at the time of implementation by the class implemented. So class and interface will comes under non-primitive data types. Now user defined data type. What is this user defined data type? We have already come across what is primitive data type, non-primitive data type, but user defined data type is a data type which is defined by the programmer in any of the programming languages like C++, Java. So this type of user defined data types are by default available in the Java libraries also. So we can define the user defined data types with a class name like public class new type, public class new type, like private int account type, private float balance, and similarly public void account details. This is a method where it has to be implemented. So this is a user defined data type. This is how we declare a user defined data type using class. So now we have studied what is data, what is data type, how many types of data type